When you're buying a new condo in Honolulu, this is probably what you're expecting. A beautiful view with modern finishes in the heart of town. Surprise, this condo isn't a new development. Ala Kaheka was built 40 years ago in 1982. This two-bedroom unit is half the cost of similar new development condos today, with one new development literally a block away. Why is this the case, and is it worth buying here? Believe it or not, there are 5 major reasons why new development may not be right for you. I'll answer all of that through my recent buyer's very serious problem, time. And reason number 1. The walkthrough will be the background until the juicy part, so don't go anywhere to find out what happens at the end. I met a client doing a 1031 exchange where a buyer can reinvest real estate without being taxed. The biggest problem is always the 45-day time window to make it work. I met her on day 24 of her search with no success thus far and only 21 days left. If she couldn't find that property, she'd have to pay a $200,000 tax bill. This problem of timing is the same struggle all buyers typically face. While the stakes may not be $200,000 or a 3-week deadline, life changes are the push that most buyers need to buy now. New development, on the other hand, is a very long process. Could you imagine putting down 20% down payment of $250,000 for a 2-bedroom and not being able to move in for years? And that's all before construction starts. So what I'm showing you right now is what the next 3 years will be for this property and the neighbors around them. That leads me to the second point, cost. To not get taxed, my clients needed to find a property with a similar price to what was sold. In this area of town where she was looking at specifically, the majority of buildings look like this, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this, and priced between $400,000 and $600,000. But she needed the $600,000 to $700,000 range. And for any of you looking for a 2-bedroom that has amenities like this, with a pool, barbecue area, clubhouse, and open area, this is what that inventory looks like for the last year. 1 building. Ala Kaheka with only 3 units sold, so more than likely impossible to get. The struggle isn't unfamiliar for buyers. Inventory just isn't there because most buyers are looking in this exact range and sellers don't want to sell in a soft market. The only other option is to buy new development. And if we pull back up the 2-bedroom inventory, do you notice a trend? The prices of all newer developments start at $1 million and only goes up from there. And that doesn't even include the cost of the latest project being built, Park at Keeaumoku, literally next door. If you look at the most recent price list, the majority of 2-bedrooms are all sold out of this gigantic project, with 2 towers and double the typical inventory of a new project. Since you can't see the actual prices, it just shows sold, 2-bedrooms with the worst view, the lowest floor, and 1 parking start at $1 million, with the best 2-bedroom units being closer to $2 million. Think about those prices compared to Unit 2901 at Hale Kaheka, the only shot I had of my client having success and priced at $648,000. At 882 interior square feet, this 2-bedroom unit at Hale Kaheka is standard for the building, as you can see here, with 2 different floor plan options. Unit 2901's floor plan is the most preferred because of the 2 view premiums, ocean and diamond head facing, as you'll notice from the views you'll be seeing. It's also highly renovated with kitchens and bathrooms updated. Honestly, when I saw this unit for the first time, it took my breath away. It has a view plane that rivals the most recent new development in the area, Ala Moana. I sold Unit 2407 at Azure with the same view direction. And believe me, Hale Kaheka's view is much better. This unit is large for a 2-bedroom, with size starting from about 600 square feet, usually being in the 700 to 800 square foot range, and some over 1,000 square feet. That leads me to point number 3, size. Ala Kaheka's units are larger than normal and similar in size to most of the 2-bedrooms at Park at Keeaumoku, and you can see that right here. Yet, the price for 2-bedroom units with 2 parking and the most premium view, similar to Ala Kaheka, is 2 to 3 times more expensive, sold out already, won't be built for 3 years, with a lot of money tied up in the meantime. And we only covered 3 of the 5 reasons. Now the 4th reason is maintenance. Most buyers buy new because they don't want the risk of increased maintenance as a building ages. And that risk is potentially justified with older buildings like One Waterfront, built in 1990, having a special assessment that costs nearly the same as a maintenance, as you can see here, here, or here. Think of how the price of your unit changes if you suddenly have to pay double or $500 more a month. Hint, it's not very good. If you don't believe me, just compare when these two units sold in 2018 compared to this one, which has the benefit of an extra parking stall. But is that reasoning true? While Hale Kaheka's maintenance went up a whopping 12% in 2023, is that really much different than what's normal? 801 South Street's condo went up 9% in 2023, was built in only 2015, and literally has no amenities. Or Kekilohana, which went up 50% a year after being built, was all over the news and created a lawsuit with the developer Ward Village. Or how about the most recent in Moana Pacific, built in 2007, which went up 40% this year, and even with a 12% increase in 2023, this is how Hale Kaheka's maintenance stacks up with all these other buildings. So is that risk justified when compared to everything else? That leads me to the last reason, saleability. By that I mean, can it sell? The biggest risk when you buy new development is the uncertainty of how a project ends up versus what you think, what the overall market looks like, and what your personal situation is in 3 to 4 years. While you can say with some certainty that home prices on Oahu only goes up, looking at the last 38 years of history, is that the case with new development? Let's look at the most recent new development, Ko'ula, a mid-level luxury condo in Ward Village. Since closing in September of 2022, 23 two-bedroom units came on market for resale. Out of them, only 4 units closed, with 13 still on the market and 6 withdrawn. Let's see one specifically, Unit 522. Initially listed for $1.7 million, there were multiple price reductions and eventually sold for a little over $1.3 million. But did they make any money? Initially purchased for $1.226 million from the developer as shown here, accounting for closing costs and commission, the net proceeds more than likely was $1.25 million. Add in taking 3.5 months to sell, 3 years of tying up $245,200, was it worth it? I would say it's more worth it than the 19 two-bedrooms still trying to sell or figuring out a backup plan. Add onto it 2 to 3 luxury developments completing every year, and it really makes you think. Using these 5 reasons why new development may not be best for you, how do you think the sale of Unit 2901 went at Ala Kaheka? It went under contract in only 5 days. Now, I told my client this was a unit for her when it first came on the market and she had to see it ASAP. Put together a strategy with her to potentially win it and negotiated back and forth with the listing agent and successfully got it with only 2 days to spare. If you want to know why and how to gain an edge for yourself in this market, you'll really have to check out this video.